This is a Stock Trading Reality Podcast, episode 20.
I just went in and bought because I was going to be rich from this no matter what. So I didn't care. I just bought.
This is the Stock Trading Reality Podcast, where you get to see the realistic side of a trader's journey. Get inspired and stay motivated by everyday normal people who are currently on their journey to trading success. And this is your host, who has never missed an episode of the reality TV show Survivor, Clay Trader.
Yes, you heard that right, and I am proud to say that I have never missed an episode of Survivor. It is, I don't know if it's my favorite TV show anymore, but it is by far one that I still watch, and the show has been on a long time. I mean, not that I'm super old, but I still remember back in high school when my football coaches and stuff would make fun of me because they knew I watched it. And that was back in like 2002. So, and it's still going strong. I'm excited for the next season. Ches, how big of a dork do you think I am right now? Because I love Survivor. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being massive geek.
I'm going to go with about a 5 geek level, but I'm going to kind of, you say you're not old, but we're going to say that the fact that you watch television programming and when it airs every single episode, I'm going to put you in like your late 40s, maybe 50s, 60s. So I'm going to give you, we're going to multiply your age for that side.
Yeah, you got the multiplier in there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, Ches, we always learn something about one another during this little session of the show. So do you watch TV? Let's start there.
Yeah, I never miss an episode of, The Real Housewives of New Jersey or something. No. I actually, growing up, my parents didn't want to believe in cable. So we only had, regular, antennas on our TVs and never had a dish or something like that. So there was never anything good on except the news. So I didn't really watch it then. But what I did become a fan of was, things like the Netflix and Amazon Prime and the ability to kind of watch things with no commercials, and I can just kind of watch an entire season on my own time. So I did become a fan of that, and I do catch up on shows now. But no, I don't actually watch television, when things actually air for the first time.
Yeah, I DVR them. So I mean, that's not like I'm sitting there waiting, but yeah, I'm definitely watching them in real time. What's a TV show that you're currently a fan of?
I'm like all over the map right now. I actually just, as goofy as it sounds, I remember my parents used to watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, I think, whatever one has Patrick Stewart in it, and Netflix just added it, and I'm watching it. And it's so funny to me to see the special effects and how I was completely blown away as a kid in the 90s when this was coming out. And I look at it now, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is, computer games look 1,000 times better than this television show did that had a bunch of money thrown at it. So I'm right now going through like real old Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing just how technology evolves. But anyways, this is not a tech podcast. We should probably move on. Today's guest, we are talking with Norse. And Norse I'm super excited, as you'll hear. He is from Norway. So this interview is coming from one of our international members who trades Forex, which is a currency market. So I don't want to ruin any more of the interview, but he's got a great personality, and I comment on it too, but I love his sense of humor, especially when he's talking about when he first got started and kept buying the tops of things. So I think you're going to get a kick out of it just because I love how he can laugh at himself. So let's get started. Hey, Norse, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by to the show.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am doing very well. I'm pretty excited. We've talked to a couple Canadians, but you are our first truly international member coming all the way from Norway. So this is pretty exciting. Now, I like history, but correct me if I'm wrong, Norway, that's where the Vikings all came from, right?
Yeah, that's the origin of the Vikings.
So it's safe for me to say that I'm pretty much talking to a Viking right now, huh?
Yeah, my ancestors are Vikings, way back.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just easily entertained, but this is probably a milestone in my life. I can officially say that I've interviewed a Viking, and I don't think many people can say that. So, Ches, are you going to be? Is this kind of a big day for you too?
It is kind of a big day. It's but the most interesting part that I'm getting out of all of this is that, are you telling me that charts work in Norway as well? I thought they only worked in like the United States and sub penny stocks. So I didn't realize charts worked all the way out in Norway.
Yeah,
No.
I think they work everywhere, but that's what we're going to figure out here. Maybe they don't work, and maybe that'll pop up here during the course of the interview.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, let's just get to the interview actually, instead of talking about how excited I am to talk to a Viking. So, Norse, where did all this start for you? What got you interested in the market? I guess what market did you first start to pay attention to? Was it the American markets, or just kind of start us at the very beginning?
At the beginning, it was the penny stock market. At the time, a few years back, I was in the Norwegian Stock Trading Championship. It was a yearly thing by a major financial Norwegian newspaper. And at that time, the cannabis stocks went boom. And I read about it in the forums and message boards, and I thought I had to join this because I saw an opportunity.
Right. So, okay. So you started though in the Norwegian markets, and I know nothing about that. So how do the Norwegian markets compare to the American markets? Is the volume pretty good? Is liquidity pretty good? Or I guess, is it? I mean, I don't know. Tell us about the Norwegian markets.
The Norwegian market, we are very much in oil. A lot of the companies in Norway are oil, but the volume is good.
Now, prior to that, reading that competition in the newspaper, were you interested at all in kind of finance or just kind of stock trading at that point? Or did that article specifically kind of spur your interest in and say, I think I'm going to try this. I think I could be good at it.
I always heard stories about people investing when they are very young, and when the age of 30 or something, they cash out, and they cash out big. So I always had an interest for the financial markets, because I know if you have basic knowledge about the financial markets, you can do pretty well.
So from the Norwegian markets, you transitioned into the penny stock market, and because of all the marijuana stocks that were booming and all that sort of stuff. So where did you fall? And now that we're all looking in hindsight, did you show up towards the beginning of it, the middle? Where exactly did you fall into place within that whole kind of bubble that formed a couple years ago?
Well, to say it, I was pretty late to the party. I bought after the end. We had already touched the top, and I bought the way down.
So you were at the top hit, and then the prices started to come down. So you were in those people that were buying the dip.
Yep. I just went in and bought because I was going to be rich from this, no matter what. So I didn't care. I just bought.
I didn't care. I was going to be rich, so I just bought. That's fantastic. You just summarized how most people their mindset getting into the markets. So okay, you were just buying. You remember the ticker symbols?
Yeah, very good. ATTBF, Abadis Bioceuticals.
I remember.
They had a great CEO, Mike Whitrow. He was going to take care of us all.
Well, did he take care of you all?
Well, he took care of himself. I suffered a major loss, so that was my story.
It looks like it actually went to a high of 278. And does anyone want to take a guess where it's at right now?
I'll go with 15 cents.
Norse, take a guess.
I think I saw it today. It was like 15 or 20 cents. Good volume.
6 cents. It's down from 278, a high of 278 to 6 cents. So just to put some context for you listeners out there.
What year was 278?
That was 2014, March of 2014.
Wow, so a little more than a year. Wow, that's, what is that, like 90% drop? Probably more than that?
Yeah, probably, yeah, closer to 95.
So the CEO, Norse, he never invited you out on his yacht or anything that you apparently paid the fuel for by, buying?
No,
you never got any?
He left me high and dry.
So, well, you know what?
Kind of disappointed. So
the one takeaway,
I diversified my trade because I bought another marijuana stock the same day. So UTRM, it was up 97% that day, and I thought that's a great thing. So
I'm cracking up over here. I love how you have such a personality, or you just have such a sense of humor about all this. So you diversified that same day, and your diversification was, hey, I'm going to buy another penny stock that's up 97%.
I'll split my risk. Yeah, I'll split my risk in half by buying one that's up 100%.
That's right. But what I didn't think about it, this is the same sector, and every chart is the same within that sector. So my loss got way bigger from that.
So okay, and I don't, to the listeners, I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing with him because I can relate to this. And like I said, I genuinely find it funny how much of a sense of humor Norse has about this. But okay, so you were in. Did the prices started to drop immediately, or what did that process kind of go? Was it
the same day? So when I listened to all of your podcasts, everybody making major gains, and I was like, I got smacked in the face day one. So that's not a feeling.
So did you keep on buying, or did you just sit on your hand and say, oh, it'll come back up, or did you literally buy all the way down?
I knew it was going to go up again, so I just sat there long and strong and reading message boards and Twitter and this is going great because this is marijuana. So, and they are public.
Yeah, I probably went to, to work or to the grocery store, and he was telling people about how great these stocks are, and now is the best time to buy. Like, oh, you're getting a better price than I'm getting. It's even lower. You get, you lower that cost average. You get in and you make even more when it kind of rips. But yeah, I looked at that other ticker as well. They followed the same. I bet you if I pull up anything in that entire sector, it followed the same exact kind of chart pattern. It just rips up huge hundreds and hundreds of % to now trading pennies or sub pennies. But so now you're sitting on these, I know you spread out your risk, 50% in each.
Yeah, he diversified.
So like Clay said, we're not laughing at him because I've bought a stock that's up like 300% on the day too, and I wondered why it might have snapped back against me. But now you're sitting on these losses in both stocks right away. Besides being long and strong, at what point does your mindset change and you realize that you might have to do some management or figure out where you're going from here?
I sat there and watched the position, and then I saw the charts, and then I saw all those movements up and down, and down and down and up, and I saw you can actually make money if you can read these things, because you can have many chances that you get 5 or 10% off. So there's something to it. But I was sitting there and watching it drop for at least a month, I think.
And it just kept going down and down. Now, you said something there that is pretty interesting, because at first you thought, I'm going to make all kinds of money. Hey, it's up 97%. That's good. Now all of a sudden you're talking, hey, I can make 5 to 10%. So what happened in your mind all of a sudden where you went from, I'm going to be rich. Now you're only focused on 5 to 10%. I mean, I don't know. I just found that interesting. Did something trigger in your mind?
Yeah, because when I bought this, I thought I'm a long-term investor. But when I saw the day-to-day action, I thought there's chances and possibilities to make money. Not loads of money on each trade, but you can make money out of it. But you have to know how to read it, when to buy and when to sell.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting how your mind kind of just seeing how that transition happened. So at what point did you finally kind of throw up the white flag, the Viking flag, wave it back and forth and say, hey, you know what? I was wrong. I just totally, when did reality finally slap you in the face and you thought, you know what, I just need to get out of those shares? And was that, how did that make you feel after you did, sell those shares? Was that kind of like a feeling of relief?
Well, I had to double down to bring my cost average down. And the next day when both stocks dropped and gapped down the same day and I sold everything, that's when I realized that I have to learn this game, because if I'm going to put real money on the line, I got to know things, because this is stupidity.
You got pushed to the breaking point and you just had to pull the plug. There was no salvaging it, and you kind of came to that realization. And you know what? Honestly, you were totally smart in doing that. Of course, in hindsight, I could always say you should have pulled the plug earlier. But But if you were still holding right now, you would still be even more down than you were at that point. So good job eventually, just tapping out and saying that I can't do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ches, what, or I should say, Norse, do you remember what price you sold the ATTBF at?
I doubled down when it was $1, the even number. And the next day, I think it gapped down to 85 cents, and I just dropped it, everything.
Okay, now think about the people that, remember, in order for you to sell those shares at 85 cents, somebody had to have bought those shares from you. So if they're in your mindset of, I'm going to be a long-term investor, what did you say that the price was now, Ches?
The price is now at 6 cents. So you did good getting out at $1, that's for sure. So those guys are hurting, the ones who had bought from you. So like I said, obviously we could always say, we wish we would have cut our losers sooner, but you had now come to the realization you kind of had this event happen that, made you recognize that, you're competing against professionals. Their job and, the market's job is pretty much to separate a fool from his money. So, where do you go from now? You were able to kind of book this loss. Are you ready to just kind of throw in the towel for trading in general, or are you still willing to kind of you want to do battle with the market, but you realize you needed to take some extra steps to get prepared?
Well, the charts they sparked my interest, and when I was on Twitter, I could see all these people have different opinions on every ticker. And then last summer we had this great penny stock pump and dump. It was a gold mine stock, NWGC, I think. And I saw Clay calling out a specific level on that, I think it was day 2. That level needs to hold. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, this guy knows what's he saying. And that level hold. And when he took his analysis on YouTube later that day, I can see he used fibs. And then that to me was like black magic. And I saw, I have to learn this, because you can get an edge and you can actually make money out of it, because now you know where to buy and where to sell by using like really simple tools, but you have to learn them.
So you're in NWGC, and did you make money on this trade?
Oh, no. I bought the top.
Oh, you bought
Yeah, it was up 300% that day, and I was, oh my God, I'm gonna make so much money. So I went ahead, I used all my account in that trade. I just bought it, and immediately it started to fall. And then you said that level needs to hold, and it did, and it had a bounce, and I was cutting my losses right there. Okay. And then after you did your analysis video, I went straight into the inner circle and bought robotic trading, your training course.
Okay, so
that was the moment for me.
Okay, so just curious, so you UTRM, ATTBF, you bought those at the top. You thought you were going to be rich. You got crushed. But then you say, okay, NWGC, you bought the top up 300%. You thought you were going to be rich. So, I mean, did you forget about how painful those previous two were? Or what? I mean, because, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying, oh, this doesn't make any sense. I just think that listeners can probably relate to the mind is an amazing place. How did your mind trick you into once again buying a stock that was up 300%? Were you just reading too many message boards or what?
Well, this guy on Twitter, he says, I'm on the phone with the CEO now, and he's buying with us. And I was like, oh, that's great. I'm going to buy too. So, because the CEO and this random stranger on Twitter, they can't be wrong. So, I just followed.
Not to get off topic of this, but if any of you guys are unaware, I started trading Bitcoin, and that's the equivalent of a penny stock, just not with real currency or whatever. We're not going to get down that road, but people would say similar things like, "Oh, I'm on the phone with this investment banker, and he's just buying loads of it right now. Now is the time to do it. You got to get in front of him." And it's just funny to see the parallels, and and. Like I said, a majority of the reason why we're laughing at this is because now we can look back and we kind of can see where we were being misguided, and maybe believing the hype or kind of drinking the Kool-Aid. So, So you see Clay and his black magic. He's the chart whisperer. He just knows where these levels are and stuff like that. And you take the course. Now, what is the development of that? Did you make that $1 million immediately? Right after taking the course, or did you decide to trade a different market? And I personally know that you trade different markets now. But what was the progression after you decided to kind of start getting involved in technical analysis specifically?
Well, after I taken the course, I think I did robotic trading 2 times, and then I went back to my penny stocks, the Mariana stocks, and I formed a plan because I was going to get my money back. So I was planning my revenge trade. And as you know, ATTBF and all of those, they had a major dead cat bounce. So I was able to make my money back or break even on ATTBF. UTRM, I think I have $50 or $60 worth of loss still in it because it's all dried up, no liquidity. And I started trading ERBB and MYEC and NTEK, like going back to them all the time and playing the bounces and selling my shares at 10, 15, 30% and started making money consistently.
It's amazing. I mean, you were just literally buying the tops, and now all of a sudden you're playing bounces, which tells me you're buying maybe not the exact bottom, but now you're actually buying where you're supposed to be buying, and you're buying and you're getting movements to the upside. And now all of a sudden you knew, hey, I'm going to take profits. So did you finally realize at this point that penny stocks are just pure garbage and it's just a big game? You don't listen to CEOs, you don't listen to people on Twitter, you just listen to the chart? Is this what was really kind of starting to go on in your mind?
Yeah, after I had taken robotic trading, the only thing I paid attention to was the chart. So I had my supports and resistances, they were drawn out before, and I placed a limit order at like 2 ticks above the support. And I got an email if I got filled, and I just rode it all the way up. So,
and you made back all that money from the AT. Now you mentioned you wanted a revenge trade. So were these smart trades? Looking back, were they still smart trades, or were they just trades where your trade plan probably got misguided a little bit because of the revenge trade factor?
ATTBF trade, that was a good trade. It was not a perfect trade because I bought momentum going up in the dead cat, and I ended up selling like a couple of percent lower than the highs of that dead cat. So that was a week-long play, I think.
Okay. So
the trade was good, and it had a plan, and it had a stop loss, and it had everything in it. But
so Clay, I don't want to, I don't want you to jump in here, and you're going to hate that I'm saying this right now. I just pulled up ERBB just to look at it because I actually traded that one back in the day. And while I'm still a firm believer that penny stocks are more prone to manipulation and don't always follow maybe chart patterns or something as closely as bigger names do, ERBB actually had like clear lines of support and resistance, and I'm actually stunned. And obviously, this is again looking in hindsight, just looking at the chart now on the daily over the past year. It actually kind of played like it respected support and resistance levels, versus some other ones where just kind of you explode, it's all Kool-Aid, and then it just dies. So yeah, good job. Completely not being demoralized, Norse. When I started trading and I would buy the top, I just felt like, yep, I'm the dumbest kid. Put my dunce hat on, and I don't know how to do this. I'm not good enough. So awesome to you for bouncing back. It's not often that we hear people, decide to go back into the same market that completely burned them the first time. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just curious. What was your time frame when you started to get back into the group? So you took robotic trading and then you started to get your money back. How long did all this last? Was this a month, a couple months? What sort of time frame?
This was a 3-month time frame, and I was playing the daily chart.
Okay, so 3 months, and you kind of got in your groove over 3 months. And listeners are going to be saying, wow, he started to make money consistently going to these penny stocks. But I know the end of your story. I know that you don't trade penny stocks anymore. So what happened? If things were going so well, pick us up from that point in the journey where you started to do a little bit more transitioning?
After those 3 months, I doubled the remainder of my penny stock account, but then the liquidity, it dried up. It was all gone. There was no, like, you got movement, but you had to chase the volume, and I want to play the same ticker over and over and over again, like it's my best friend, and you couldn't do that in the penny stocks because you can sit on a bid for a week without getting filled, and the price goes sideways. And when you finally get filled, it drops on you. So I had to get out of that market.
That's I'm so glad you said that. That illustrates a perfect point. And I'm not going to try to bore anybody with economics here, but in economics you have efficient markets and inefficient markets. Penny stocks, what Norse was just talking about, was it got way too inefficient. A lot of people get into stocks saying, hey, it's a stock market, I can buy and sell. True, kind of. But there needs to be somebody willing to buy from you. There needs to be somebody willing to sell to you. So like Norse was saying, he would sit on the bid, meaning he's saying, hey, I want to buy shares. But he said he just sat there for weeks upon weeks, meaning there's just not enough people out there. Nobody was willing to sell him shares at that price. Whereas if you look at a big board stock, Apple, SPY, just any of the big boards, those are efficient markets, meaning if you want to get in relatively close to where the price is, odds are you're going to get in, and you're going to get in pretty quickly. So, keep that in mind. Yes, it is a penny stock market, but it is an inefficient market. And if there's just not volume there, aka liquidity, like Norse is saying, you just can't. It just becomes very difficult, and you almost have to just live through it in order to understand the effects of it. But that's really how everything functions in terms of, and why we've heard over the past so many interviews, people going from penny stocks into options, because once again, you're going from an inefficient market to an efficient market, which is what options are all about. So you're doing well, volume dries up. So what did you determine? Or the Viking sitting here saying, I don't know what to do anymore. There's no more volume. There's no more liquidity. So what was your next step? You picked up your Thor hammer, and then where did you go?
I had a friend, a colleague of mine. He traded Forex markets, and he said it's great. It's liquid, and there's no commissions. And I was like, there's no commissions? No, you only pay the spread. And I was like, I need to check it out at least, because I knew charts, or at least I thought I could read a chart good. So in October 2014, I ventured into the Forex market, and I used the same approach that I did like when playing penny stocks. But not quite the same success there out of the gates.
So just to give you listeners some context, so the Forex market is, just another trading vehicle. It's, very similar to kind of stocks or options or futures. But what it is you're trading pretty much a currency pair, what the euro is doing versus the dollar, what the, Canadian money is doing versus our money. And all it is a pair, but it still kind of moves very similar to stocks. It still has supports and resistances. It's merely just another vehicle. And, instead of things moving in a dollar increment per se, things move in something that's called pips. So you might hear Norse kind of say that, he made, something move 200 pips or, 50 pips or something like that. So how difficult was it? You said that you did not come into, immediate success transitioning off of penny stocks into Forex. So what happened? Was it just the fact that this market was, operating, 24 hours, 5 days a week, the increased time that it's trading, or was there some other issues or kind of intricacies for this specific market that you weren't used to?
It was a combination of many things, I believe. I played the smaller time frames going into Forex, and I lost track of the big picture and the whole new environment with the news and the whole macro thing. It kind of scared me and left me paralyzed, and I made all the wrong plays, because a chart is a chart, but I treated it like it was something else. And I think that's the main factor that blew me out of the gates starting off with the FX markets.
you treated it like something else. I mean, what did you treat it? That's an interesting statement. So, I mean, what did you treat it like?
I tried to listen to all of the news and reading and what's going to happen next after this move, because I could see all those technical patterns like shaping up, but I did not play them as patterns. I tried to do all the fundamentals, and that's a horrible way to trade Forex, if you ask me.
So you were just
I changed everything that was working for me in the penny stock world and changed everything around, and then got scared from the new environment and the 24 hours of trading and playing like the 5-minute time frame. So I changed it all up.
So you went from penny stocks buying the tops to taking robotic trading, learning about charts, to then having success in stocks. And then because you were in a new quote unquote market, Forex, you forgot all that stuff you had learned from robotic trading, and then went back to just like you said it perfectly. You just changed everything around, even though you had the system figured out. You kind of tricked yourself into almost overthinking it. So that's very interesting. So I mean, where are you at in terms of trading right now? Are you doing pretty well in terms of consistency, or I mean, just how does your trading currently stand?
Right now, my trading, I blew like 75% of my Forex account from October till the end of February. So in March, I spent all of March paper trading. I paper traded a specific setup. I traded all the double bottoms and the double tops I can find on the 15-minute time frame, because I needed to get a fresh start in this market and just hunt for a specific setup. So after 1 month of paper trading, I went live again. Then I used the remainder of my penny stock account. That was approximately $400, but the dollars versus the NOK, it's not in my favor. But so I started off with this, and since April I have been range bound. So I have an average hit rate or success rate of 41%.
And and we go over kind of how even with say a win-loss rate of below 50%, you can actually still be profitable depending on how you manage your risk, and we cover that specifically in the RVR trading course. But so obviously, you kind of come back to your roots, you're a real analytical guy, and I love that. You have like the stats of your trading. A lot of people don't take the time to kind of look at what they're either strong at, mathematically, or, they just kind of say, oh, I think I'm good at this, but they really have never kind of looked at the numbers. So while you're paper trading, did you find that those double bottoms or double tops were something that, you just gravitated to because you were able to spot them easiest? Or was it just because you had tried, maybe trying breakout trades or wedge trades, and you just had a lower success rate with those and decided that, you wanted to focus specifically on these, couple strategies that, worked out for you, especially when you were, practicing?
Yeah, to me, I thought I had to change things up, so I started developing my own playbook. And the first chapter had to be like the double tops and the double bottoms, because you can spot them really easy, and the double tops and the double bottoms, you can really make some good money out of them.
And that leads up pretty good into my next question here. I was going to say, we know that you're trading Forex. Do you have any sort of favorite strategies? You just gave us a couple patterns, but are you using any sort of specific strategy or any favorite indicators right now?
I only use the RSI on the higher time frames, and on the day trading time frames, I used 3 moving averages: the 21, the 50, and the 200.
21, the 50, and the 200. And I'm assuming your main thing for price action is candlesticks, right?
Yeah, that's the main thing.
So you're not using a line chart or something silly like that?
No, it's candlesticks. And on my day trading, I used the candlestick analysis, and I look for candlesticks setups. If I see like a evening star, a shooting star, a hammer, or tweezer tops, I take action based on the previous close.
Now, like Ches was saying, you're a very analytical guy. So, I mean, do you find it pretty amazing just how much information a single candlestick can provide, and then you clump a couple, a few together? Isn't that amazing? Just how much information, even just from an analytical perspective, how something so simple can be so revealing.
Yeah, I love it because you don't have to think or feel anything by looking at the chart. The candlestick, they tell you the story, and if that kind of candle closes like that at that specific level, you take action. There's no need to think. You just act. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, you're giving me some great leadways here. So you just act. So that brings to the next point. Let's talk about losing a little bit here. So when you were first, no offense intended here, but you were a fantastic loser at the beginning. I mean, buying those tops, and I mean, you were really good at losing. Let me tell you that. But losing from when you got started to now, you just said, you just listen to the chart and you just do it. And that would include taking losses. So, how did losses used to affect you? And then how do losses, affect you at this point in time?
Back in the penny stock days, losses, they did not affect me because I had a stop loss in place. And if I took a loss, I didn't feel it at all. I just went on, planned the next trade, and wait for an opportunity. But after taking RT, the first few months when I spent my time blowing up my first Forex account, the losses there, they changed kind of because I took it personal. Because I thought I was partially educated and I had a specific strategy and I couldn't figure out why I could lose at this point in this environment. Because I knew what the chart was and I took it personal.
Gotcha. Yeah, and we talk specifically, especially when a good majority of us kind of started to learn about options, about kind of we would quote unquote get intimate with specific stocks. And what that really, means, and we've touched on another podcast too, is that you kind of get to learn how, the way things move, kind of the feeling and the ups and the downs, and its personality. In a way, and Forex alone, just as its own kind of as a broad sense has it just moves completely differently than a penny stock, which might only be open 6.5 hours or whatever the market's open. So I can totally understand why it takes it wasn't just an immediate transition and everything was good to go. But you would agree though that you're finding basic rules of technical analysis still apply in Forex. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. You can't trade Forex without technical analysis because if you're doing it, you're going straight to the slaughterhouse. Because Forex, it moves and it can take out your account in 3 minutes. It's violent.
It is violent. You took the word right out of my mouth. And I traded a little bit of Forex myself. And I mean, when news hits or something and, the buy bots or the sell bots just kind of hit the market, I want people to keep in mind that this is a worldwide market. There are people everywhere slamming the sell button or slamming the buy button at the same time, and things can really move. And it's a very highly leveraged product, and that's why a lot of people kind of come in there. They think they can make riches very quickly, but if you don't respect your risk, you can get humbled very fast. But I know you said you were kind of range bound as far as kind of your account value. But how about your confidence in kind of your abilities? I know you had recently just taken the plunge into your trading in a much more full-time manner now. What kind of got you to the point where you felt like you were ready to do that? What was kind of the process leading up to say I'm going to dedicate more of my time and really look at this as a way to make income? What kind of got you to that point?
It was the whole process because I have been keeping a journal since day one. I still have my ATTBF like 500% gainers written down, and I'm very I keep a journal, as I said, and I keep stats about my months and weeks and all the number of trades, number of losers, the number of winners, and how much I lose and how much I win. So, and now I started tweaking all of that and making it work for me because I have a 41% success rate, but I can make that work, but I have to lower my risk.
Yeah, no, you said that perfectly. 41% win rate, but you can make it work because you understand, okay, risk management, you know, sure, I don't have to win. When you're taking bad risk versus reward, you know, that's where you better have a super high win rate because, you know, averaging down, we've talked about that before. Averaging down is something where, you know, the chance of success doing it, pretty darn high. The only problem is when it doesn't work, your accountant, you know, all those wins, you know, go by, you know, they go bye-bye. So sure, it could be something where, yeah, I have a win rate of, you know, 90%. Well, what about that 10%? And I guarantee you that 10% is when you're using averaging down type things, you know, that's wiping out that other 90%. If not, not only wiping it out, you know, maybe even putting you in the hole. So you're getting more. Are you full time officially? I should ask.
Yeah, full time now.
Okay, full time. And how long have you been doing full time now?
1 week. This is my first week.
Really?
Welcome.
Okay, well, I was going to say, well, I can still ask the question, but you can only give us about 1 week's perspective. I mean, how has that been going? I mean, we're all traders. We all have voices in our heads. The only difference is your voices speak Norwegian, but my voices speak English. But so what are those voices? I mean, for somebody, because I get it all the time, and I'm sure Ches hears it, you know, I want to do this full time. Well, you literally are 1 week into doing this full time. You know, how's that been going for you just from a psychological perspective?
To be honest, I think it's going better because now I have to add structure to my trading in regards of when do I start to work? When does the day end? Because the Forex is 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you can't trade all those hours. Yes, so you have to put up a schedule, and you have to treat it like a business, treat it like a job.
That's a great answer. It's forced you to get structured. It's truly forced you to treat it like a business. And Ches and I could rant about that topic all day long about how people think this is just fun. People think this is Las Vegas. Treat it like a business. No, I'm here for the fun. You know, Norse, no offense to you again. We were all there, but I think when you first got started, hey, I'm here to be rich. Hey, this thing's up 97%. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to buy it. And now you've obviously taken a 180 and you understand, wow, this is a business. I have to, you know, treat it as a business. So on that note, I know you're only 1 week in, but a lot of people are always curious about, you know, do you have any routines or rituals? So, you know, walk us through this. What's a typical day of yours now that you're structuring your business? You know, what time do you wake up? What are you doing when you wake up? Just walk us through a day.
When I wake up, I immediately go down, eat breakfast, drink 2 cups of coffee, and then I head up to the office and start doing my top-down analysis, starting from the daily chart and going down to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, 30-minute, and like see where we are right now. So that's how I start my day, and you start looking for supports and resistances and like the general mood of the chart.
And what about when you know? So what does the end of your day look like? Because I mean, Forex, you know, like you guys have been saying, it's literally open. There's always some sort of pairing open 24/7. So I mean, when exactly does your day end? Because theoretically speaking, you could be working 24/7. The way that the Forex market is structured.
My day ends right now because I have been working night shifts 4 years in a row. So I'm trading. My day ends when the US market ends because that kills liquidity even in the FX markets. So my day ends then, no matter what. If I have positions, I let them go because if they haven't reached their targets yet, they just need more time. But I don't take new trades before the next day. I have to wait to the next day. So.
Awesome. And what I really want you guys to realize here, and like Clay had said, and like we mentioned a bunch of times, is that, you know, he is completely treating it like a business, and that is the mindset you really need to kind of be successful in the long term. Sure, could you put your account, go all in on one trade and have it, double your account? Sure, but that's a 50-50 shot, and you could completely blow up, and like we said, the Forex market could humble you in an instant. So if I was able to lend you my time machine and we could go back to those days where you were buying the tops of penny stocks. What piece of advice would you give yourself? What piece of advice now that would you give yourself back then?
You have to be more patient. Let the trade come to you. You can't chase price because price will whip you in your face and it will kill you. It kills your accounts. So patience and education.
So chasing kills. Is that what you're saying there? Chasing kills?
Yeah, it kills you in a brutal way.
Yeah, it's and it's so fun to chase. I'm always, I like to do quite a few paper trading chases in the chat room where I'll say, hey, I really want to chase right now, but I'll just paper trade it. And I swear 70% of the time I literally would have bought the top if I had chased. So it's Norse, chasing will hit you in the face real quick. So don't chase, be patient. That's let the price come to you. I fully agree with that. Well, Norse, it comes to that time where we get to the serious questions here. So are you ready for some serious questions?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, kind of.
I'm telling you,
I've been nervous for a couple of days now, so this is
You were doing. This has nothing to do with anything. This is me just not minding my own business. But how many languages do you speak?
I speak two. I speak Norwegian and English.
Okay, and again, none of my business, but just curious, is English a required language like when you're going through school?
Yeah, we start English in 3rd grade.
So is it pretty?
Second or third?
Okay, so is it pretty common in Norway for people to be able to speak English?
Yeah, when tourists or foreigners live in Norway and they try to speak Norwegian to us, we just switch over. And that's a bad thing if you ask me, because then they're never going to learn the language.
No, that's true. That's true. And then my final serious question before I get to the super serious is, if I'm ever in Norway, you want to hang out with me?
Yeah, sure. That would be great.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to that. If my wife and I ever decide to do some sort of European vacation, I'm going to try to look you up, all right? So I'm going to hold you to that.
Come.
Okay, fantastic. And never mind. I could ask you questions all the time. Let's just get to so what's your favorite movie, Norse? What is your favorite movie?
I can't choose just one. It's Rocky #4.
Adrian! There we go.
Yeah.
Back on track, Chaz.
All right, the streak is broken again.
No, which Rocky, though?
#4.
Is that where he fights the Russian?
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one, Chaz. I must break you.
You made it too easy, Norse. I gotta email these people more often and tell them to pick some real obscure films.
All right,
but,
we're gonna spice things up. I want you to give us another movie, and let's see if Chez can quote it. Even though Chez isn't as big of a movie buff. Let's see.
Inception.
Bomb! There's just the noise. How does that work? I got the noise down. That's a quote.
That's legit. That's legit.
A straight up sound effect from the movie.
But that's a great movie. That's
fantastic.
That's a really good choice. That's good stuff. What kind of food do you like to eat?
I have to go with pizza.
Very nice. I'm a huge fan of pizza as well. So what about a specific dessert?
Not really big of a dessert kind of guy. So no dessert for me.
Nothing wrong with that. Keep your nice trim figure. You're smarter than me driving down some cake or something. But what about a favorite song or band?
Favorite band? That has to be Volbeat, a Danish band.
Okay, and those people are from Denmark, right?
Yeah, Denmark.
And people from Denmark speak Danish, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of a little inside joke here. We were talking before we got started, and I was just machine gunning Norse with a bunch of questions again, and we figured out that people from Denmark, we weren't quite sure, but they speak Danish. So now back to the food thing. In the United States, hamburgers and hot dogs, a steak, that's kind of what we're known for. Is Norway, are you guys known for any sort of certain food?
Yeah, we have, it's almost like a traditional dish. We take a sheep's head and eat it. And that's
you guys are Vikings, of course you do.
Yeah.
Why would you not? That's awesome.
It's sick if you ask me. I have eaten it, but I can't like it because it's a sheep's head. So
that's the Vikings. I don't know what else to say. You guys are Vikings. I mean, that's awesome. What do you like to do for fun or hobbies?
I like to go hiking in the mountains and just hang out with friends and spend time with the family.
Awesome, awesome. Now, if you could meet one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh, I think I have to go with Stallone himself.
Still, would you want to box him?
No. Are you insane? I want to meet him because I heard this story about when he was writing the original Rocky, and he was offered $110,000, and he had like $16 in his pocket, and he still said no. So,
and he made
respect.
Yeah, no. He held to his beliefs that what he was working on. Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's an interesting little tidbit. Well, our final question here. I'm giving you 3 words to describe, what you would say, is associated with a successful trader. So, what 3 words would you use to do that?
Disciplined, patient, and consistent.
Very nice. Disciplined, patient, and consistent. Well said. And I full-heartedly agree. Well, Norse, like I said, I'm not kidding. I could sit here and we could have this interview go on and on and on just because I'm super interested by you and your story. But for the sake of you and your family and your job and everything else, we'll end this right here. So thank you very much for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me as a guest.
It was a really good time. And if you enjoyed today's show, I'd like for you to do a couple things. If you're listening to this on claytrader.com, click the share button, leave us a comment down below. Norse is actually very interactive with comments. He's always leaving comments on YouTube videos of past podcast people. So I know for sure that if you have questions for him, he will be looking at those comments, and I'm sure he'd be more than willing to help you out. But Ches and I also read all those comments, so please leave those. And also, if you're listening to this on iTunes, leave us a rating, leave us some feedback. We love to hear what you guys are saying out there. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you again for being a part of this interesting little journey with our Viking friend, and we will see you back for the next episode.
This has been the Stock Trading Reality Podcast. Thanks for taking the time to hang out. To learn more about Clay and the Clay Trader community, including the trading team, premium training, and more, visit claytrader.com.